So, both because my wife was a federal judge for 24 years and had lots of battles over who owns high technology, you kind of got to wonder whether you guys have the potential for going public and whether a lot of your investors or institutions that had gotten fairly far along.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we want to be able to grow into a larger enterprise where we have multiple different products for multiple disease states as well.
So to go public, you feel like you'd probably have to come up with some other ideas for products.
Exactly.
Not just Aluna.
Yeah, exactly. Aluna's and this respiratory space is just the beginning, and there's a lot more potential in bringing other hospital technologies that can be brought into the home, so then people can self-manage their chronic conditions.
I mean, to me, that's absolutely critical. I complained about having to figure out and do new passwords and new everything to try to figure out my health online. And I think people are clearly trying to get things that are simpler and easier to do.
Exactly, and things that you want to be able to do for yourself.
And I would think doctors the same way. If there's a system like yours that allows the public, patients to understand better, it saves them time too.
Exactly.
Have you guys hooked up with any of the big medical care providers?
Not yet. We've been starting to speak to them. Mainly we've been working with hospitals. So for instance, UCSF, the Children's Hospital over there, we've been working with them. We've also been working with the University of Vermont Health, and we're about to kick off a study also with the Children's Hospital of LA.
Well, those are pretty far afield from the Bay Area, particularly Vermont.
Oh, yes.
I'm impressed. So obviously I met you at one spot you were marketing, which is the annual walk of Breathe California. And somebody talked to you, having seen you in there, to going on a TV show. So what other things are you doing to try to get sales of the product moving?
Yeah, so first, we very much so want to be involved with a lot of the community here. So I mean, I think we even heard about the walk through an asthma summer camp that we participated in here in San Jose. So we went down to another summer camp down in Santa Barbara, and so we've also been in the holiday parades out in Roseville. So I mean, one of the ways that we've been trying to reach more people has been through the recommendations of their doctors. And eventually, later on, hopefully this year, in a couple of months, will be also available online on our website.
So we've been talking with Charvi Shetty about Aluna, her product, to have you understand what's happening better with some lung breathing disorders. We'll be back in 30 seconds with her. See you then.
The different therapeutic methods that we can help our very low socioeconomic status clients who have no alternatives, no anything, and there's still about 15 different resources we got out of this that if you have no resources, no service connection, you can still get aid.
That they are connected, one encourages the other, and that the process of change from backing off from the tobacco is the same as backing off from any other addictive drug.
Everyone can benefit from this training that we just were offered today. I would not take it back.
Welcome back. This is Breathe California TV. My name's Terry Trumbull. We're talking with Charvi Shetty of Aluna, a product that will help many people with breathing difficulty in terms of the way they're handled medically. Much of our focus on this show has been on air quality and things that we can do to prevent air damage. How much is that a cause of asthma and other breathing disorders that Aluna helps you with?
So I mean, like for instance, when there were wildfires just around 2 years ago from like the Paradise Fires, we noticed that, especially for all the people who are already using our product, their lung function was drastically affected by the exposure to the wildfires. And it wasn't an immediate impact, but a lot of people's lung function were affected about a week after. And even after the air quality got better, it took about another few weeks to recover back to where they normally were. So I mean, like as you know, there's a lot of wildfires going on throughout even Australia right now, unfortunately. And so things like that could severely impact and potentially even cause people to have more respiratory conditions. In polluted areas, like for instance in China and India, that's also like a number, and the incidence of respiratory conditions has been unfortunately also increasing.
So I wonder whether the problems that I and my two daughters who live in the house right next door to me were due to their familiarity and mine with how bad that stuff can be. So in April, I brought a brand new car, and the filter for the air coming into the cabin was completely blown out by the first service I had, because they had to clear so much crud out from those wildfires.
Oh wow, okay.
That really tells you a lot about how much crud there is out in the air.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just things like air quality that could affect it, but for people with, for instance, asthma, it's also environmental conditions like higher rates of pollen, for instance, that could trigger it.
Yeah, no, there's a whole bunch of things that can kick it off, but either way, what's great is that you're monitoring it, you're letting people check in as often as they want.
Yeah, exactly. So part of the thing that we collect is also geolocation data, so we can see how those environmental factors could be affecting your lung health, whether it be air quality, like your from wildfires, or pollution, or even changes in temperature that could affect a person's lung health, or even a pandemic like the flu is going around, or this higher rate of a cold that's going around. So that's what also we take into consideration, in addition to just your numbers, plus your medication and your symptoms.
So do you have people that purchase your product sign a waiver allowing monitoring of where they are?
So right now it's basically as part of the app, you can choose to whether or not you want to be able to share your location with us only during the time that you're performing spirometry. So look, when the app is not open, it's not going to be collecting any of your locations. And we also share that if they share their location data with us when they're doing spirometry, we can share additional insights into their lung health. Like if they would like to know how things like climate change or air quality is affecting their child, then those are the additional benefits that we can offer our users.
I was asking that strange question that you handled very well, given we hadn't told you we were going to ask it beforehand, is just because my Toyota hybrid, they would not sell it to me in April without agreeing to have them monitor GPS where I am at all times.
Yeah.
And they claim it's for emergency
I see.
service.
Okay.
So it sounds like your product could
You have the choice.
similar type of privacy issues, and it sounds like you're handling it well. So you and Chris Kalenko, my wonderful producer, worked out a bunch of questions beforehand. Which ones have I screwed up and not asked you? Do you have something in particular you wanted to talk about?
Maybe some of the things that I'd like the audience to take away.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. I mean, for that, we'll be available for purchase pretty soon. So we're just waiting for FDA clearance in the next month or so. And so at that point, Aluna will be available for anyone to be able to purchase from our website. And so if you know anyone with asthma, like a child between the ages of 8 and 13 within California, we'd love to have them try out our product.
So when you gave Gopher, our delightful director, try to make alliteration to make him sound good, your contact information, can you guys talk to anybody that wants to call and let them know the status?
Yeah, definitely. And you can also just contact us through our website or on my email directly.
So the
as well.
website was
Aluna.io.
yeah. Not knowing any better, you'd swear it was online dating with Aluna. But anyhow, do you have some core information that we needed to get you to pass along?
Is there anything that you would like to know about us?
I'm pretty doggone happy. I've got these questions that would help if I was better at looking at them. One of them is asthma conditions vary greatly by individuals.
Yes.
Treatments for those vary markedly, I assume.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, every individual with asthma is very different. And so that's why we're trying to understand more about a specific individual over time. So part of the reason why we won a National Science Foundation Award, which is basically government funding to run a couple of the projects that we're doing right now, is to be able to understand the correlations of different things like your spirometry plus environmental conditions plus medication or exercise or symptoms. So what we'd want to be able to do is potentially predict the onset of a potential attack and suggest some actions that could be beneficial for that user. Like for instance, if we know that a specific individual, after being exposed to a change in temperature or change in season, often gets sick, and usually medication, for instance, can help them get better sooner, then perhaps in the future, when we know that there's going to be some sort of climate change or some sort of drop in temperature, we can suggest that they take some sort of preventative action and then be able to reduce the amount of time that they're actually sick.
So drop in temperature is a big deal?
So for instance, for a lot of asthmatics, changes in temperature, like from either hot to cold or cold to hot, or even changes in humidity, could potentially lead up to an asthma attack. And a lot of times actually, it's when you're sick, that's what triggers a lot of attacks as well. And so if you could prevent that.
So you could have flu or some other kind of symptoms, and that just makes you more susceptible to an asthma attack.
Exactly. So as long as your asthma is well under control, then, and it's not your asthma reacting to your sickness, then you can potentially be sick for a lesser amount of time.
And I would assume it goes both ways. If your asthma is less problems, you're less susceptible to other types of problems.
Potentially, yeah, exactly. So we've noticed that for a lot of our users, in previous years, they would get sick often for 3 weeks at a time, and with that long length of school. And now people aren't even getting their sinus infections, even though they've had it every single year since they've been born. They've been sick way less often, and they've just been experiencing less symptoms, which is great.
Do you see a point at which schools might use this as a way of sending kids home?
So as a way to potentially be able to our goal is to be able to help monitor conditions. So it's something that's not just a one-time thing, but something that you carry around with you. So you're constantly holding the knowledge as to how your lung health is doing.
So we've got 30 seconds left. Do you want everybody in our audience to remember?
Check out our website to learn more about us. We also feature a lot of asthma educational tips for people to just better understand what's going on with your child's lung health.
So we've been talking with Charvi Shetty of Aluna, who managed to come up with this idea with fellows from UC Berkeley. And she's got a vibrant business that could help a lot of you out there. So next week, we'll try to get somebody similarly exciting and dynamic. See you then.